Okay, imagine this. A tech titan, someone you thought was basically immovable, suddenly losing its grip on a massive, absolutely critical market. We're not talking about some small shift here. This is, well, it's got huge geopolitical implications for decades. Windows, America's Windows was the OS in China, unchallenged. But that's changing. In a really stunning move, China's replacing it. Millions of government business computers. Switching to Huawei's HarmonyOS, it's more than just competition. It feels like a strategic earthquake shaking up the whole tech world.
It really is. Yeah, earthquake is a good word. It's like this silent revolution that's been happening, maybe not so silently anymore. And what we want to do today is kind of unpack that, get into the why. How is China actually pulling this off? And maybe most importantly, what does this decoupling, this big split, mean for global tech? And honestly, for you, it's a huge story.
Absolutely huge. So let's set the stage a bit. Windows in China. It wasn't just popular, it was everywhere, right?
Oh, totally ubiquitous. Government offices, state-owned factories, universities, big companies. Everywhere you looked, it was Windows. It was the standard, the bedrock, really, of their digital setup for decades.
And everyone just assumed that would continue, I guess.
Yeah.
But that whole era, it's ending? Quietly?
Quietly, but decisively, yeah. China's rolling out one of the biggest tech shifts in its history, methodically swapping Windows for HarmonyOS. And they started right at the core, government computers, state-owned enterprise machines, millions of them. This is way beyond just a software update. It's a statement, a declaration of tech independence.
Oh, wow. Okay, so when did this really kick into high gear? Was there a specific moment or directive?
There absolutely was. Late 2024, China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, the MIIT, they put out clear guidance, not just suggestions, really, but actionable recommendations. They told government departments, state-owned companies, basically start phasing out foreign software, all of it.
All of it, not just the OS.
No, everything. Operating systems, yeah, but also foreign processors, think Intel, AMD databases, even Office software like Microsoft Office. It was comprehensive. And the rollout started almost right away. Big provinces like Shandong, Sichuan, Guangdong, they were first. Thousands and thousands of workstations suddenly switching.
And places like tax offices, police stations.
Exactly. Tax offices, police, transport authorities, hospitals, critical infrastructure. Imagine the IT scramble. One day it's Windows, the next it's HarmonyOS. A huge test for the system right from day one.
That sounds incredibly ambitious. So after those initial provinces, did they pause or just keep going?
Kept going, full speed ahead. Early 2025, Beijing and Shanghai jumped in. Mass upgrades across their city governments. And the target number, it's kind of staggering, over 50 million devices.
50 million?
50 million government and state-linked devices aiming for the end of 2025. Just think about that number. It's like the whole population of South Korea switching their computers OS in about a year.
That's incredible. And you said that's just the start.
Just the start. Next up, schools, universities, infrastructure agencies, even banking and telecoms eventually. It's a full national push, not some limited trial.
Okay, but coordinating something that big across so many different parts of government, different companies, how? How are they actually managing that logistically?
Yeah, the coordination is pretty unprecedented. Huawei isn't just making the software in isolation. They've partnered up. Big domestic PC makers, Lenovo, Inspur, Tongfeng, they're pre-installing HarmonyOS Next on all the new government machines. And crucially, these aren't running Intel or AMD chips anymore.
Right, you mentioned phasing out foreign processors.
Exactly. These new machines use Chinese processors. Lumsen, Kunpeng, Fidium, so the whole stack, hardware and software, is becoming domestic. And maybe the clearest sign, go look at the government procurement websites. Windows, it's just not listed as an approved OS anymore for new contracts.
Seriously, it's gone.
Gone. New government buys have to choose HarmonyOS Next, or maybe Neokylin, another Chinese Linux OS, or other approved domestic options. It's a top-down, coordinated replacement of the digital foundation. Windows is effectively being written out of the official script.
Okay, this is definitely more than just a tech choice. It feels deeply strategic. So let's really dig into the why. What's driving this massive, aggressive shift?
You're right, it's profoundly strategic. And the roots, they go straight back to the U.S.-China tech tensions. Remember when the U.S. banned Huawei from Google services and restricted chip exports? Chinese officials saw that. They saw how one order from Washington could potentially cripple huge parts of their economy.
So seeing that vulnerability firsthand, That was the trigger.
It was a massive wake-up call for a country that depends on digital systems for everything. Power grids, healthcare, transport relying on foreign, specifically US-controlled software like Windows, started to look like an unacceptable risk.
What was the specific fear with Windows, though? It's used globally. How did it become a security risk in their eyes?
It's about control, ultimately. Being US-controlled, Windows represented a potential backdoor, not necessarily a literal one, but a point of leverage. What if, during a political crisis, the US restricted security updates or support? Or what if there were hidden vulnerabilities they didn't know about? That lack of total control over something so fundamental, it just became too big a strategic gamble. So their response was this big push for self-reliance. They call it the Xinjiang Initiative, information innovation.
Xinjiang.
Yeah. Billions poured into developing their own ecosystem. Secure, controllable, domestic software and hardware. And HarmonyOS is right at the heart of that whole strategy now.
So bottom line, it's China saying, we don't need to depend on your tech anymore.
Exactly. It's about sovereignty, not just compatibility, which might be the goal elsewhere. It's about building their own separate digital world, one they control completely without foreign leverage. It's a geopolitical statement made through technology.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting for me. HarmonyOS, back in 2019, when it first appeared, a lot of people, myself included probably, kind of wrote it off.
Yeah, the initial reaction was skeptical.
Right. It looked like maybe just another Android skin, a temporary fix, definitely not something that could actually replace Windows on this scale. But now, 2025, it's a totally different story. What is HarmonyOS Next? What makes it a real contender now?
Yeah, that skepticism was fair back then, but HarmonyOS Next, it's a radical departure. It's built completely from the ground up. It's not based on Android. It's not based on Linux in the traditional sense. It uses Huawei's own microkernel architecture.
Microkernel. Okay, what does that mean practically?
Think of Windows or Linux like one big, complex machine monolithic. A microkernel is more like building with small, independent blocks. It's designed to be more secure because parts are isolated, it's lighter, more efficient, doesn't have all the old legacy baggage that Windows carries. It's clean, optimized, and this is the crucial part for China, completely controlled by Chinese developers. Total control.
Okay, a clean slate. But the app problem, that's always the killer for new OSes, isn't it? If it can't run the apps people need.
That's the million-dollar question, always. And here's the really bold move. HarmonyOS Next doesn't support Android apps anymore at all.
Whoa, really? No Android apps? How can they possibly pull that off?
It sounds crazy, but they've been incredibly aggressive. They basically said apps need to be rewritten for HarmonyOS. Using Huawei's tools, their APIs, the building blocks for software, they launched development kits, tools, pushed developers hard, and it seems to be working, at least domestically. All the big Chinese apps, WeChat, Alipay, WPS Office, DingTalk, the ones people use every single day, they've already been recompiled. They run natively now.
Already? How many apps are we talking about?
Huawei says over 4,000 apps are optimized already, and the number's climbing fast. For Chinese developers, it's almost become like a national project. You know, there's government backing, incentives. It's a massive ecosystem push.
That's quite a feat. Okay, so the apps are coming along. But how does it actually run? Is it smooth? Is the user experience any good? Or is it just something people have to put up with?
Early reports are actually quite positive, especially on the hardware it's designed for, like Huawei's own Kirin chips. People are saying it's faster. Noticeably faster boot times, apps are more responsive. Battery life seems better too. That tight integration where Huawei controls the chip and the OS seems to be paying off in performance and strategically. It plugs right into China's own cloud services, their own AI models, completely bypassing Google, Microsoft, AWS. That independence is the whole point.
Okay, so it works. It's getting apps. It fits the strategic goal. Let's talk impact. What does this mean outside China for the big U.S. tech companies that basically own that market for so long?
Oh, the impact is huge. Seismic, like you said earlier. Take Microsoft. Windows on government and business PCs in China. That was a huge revenue stream for years, billions in licensing. Even with piracy issues on the consumer side, the enterprise and government deals were massive. Now, they're just evaporating.
Hundreds of millions in lost license fees.
Easily. Annually. And it's not just Windows. Microsoft Office is getting replaced by WPS Office. Azure Cloud Services are losing out to Huawei Cloud. Their whole enterprise foothold in China is shrinking fast. They have to be rethinking everything there.
And the chip makers, Intel, AMD, they must be feeling this too, right?
Yeah.
PCs aren't using their chips.
Absolutely. They were the default choice for decades. But this HarmonyOS shift is paired with that move to domestic CPUs, Lumsen, Fidium, Kunpeng. These chips are designed for the Chinese systems, cutting out reliance on the standard by 86 architecture from Intel and AMD. Government buying rules now demand local chips. Some analysts think demand for foreign CPUs in government contracts could drop by like 70%, maybe more, in just the next couple of years.
70%, wow, that's a massive chunk of business just gone.
It's a huge hit, especially since government and state enterprise orders are a big, stable part of the market. Intel and AMD are facing a serious challenge to their long-term growth plans in China.
So it really is an economic shockwave, not just a tech change.
Yeah.
What about the bigger picture, the global implications?
Exactly. Think about it. The West basically built the digital roads China drove on for decades. Now China's ripping up those roads and paving their own. That sends a signal globally. Other countries watching this, maybe Russia, Iran, others in Southeast Asia or Africa who have complex relationships with the U.S., they might see this and think, maybe we shouldn't be so dependent either.
So it could encourage others to seek alternatives.
It definitely could. It feeds into this growing trend of technological sovereignty. Nations wanting control over their own digital destiny, not wanting to be reliant on foreign code, foreign chips, foreign rules, especially when politics get tense. What we're seeing is the tech world fragmenting, splitting into potentially two major ecosystems, one centered around the U.S., the other around China, with different standards, different supply chains, a fundamentally divided digital future.
This really goes way beyond just software, doesn't it? It's like a warning shot. For years, U.S. tech giants felt indispensable, especially in government and critical sectors. But HarmonyOS Next, this whole domestic tech push, China's basically saying, think again. They're proving they can build an alternative.
They absolutely are. And it leaves us with a pretty profound question, really, for you listening.
Yeah.
What does this all mean for the future? Is the West ready for a world where China might not need Silicon Valley in the same way? What are the implications for how the internet works, how data flows, how countries interact? It's a huge shift happening right now. What part of this stands out most to you?